The LA Clippers are set to play their final game before the AllStar Break against the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday, but bad news on Tuesday. First broken by Shams Charania of The Athletic that Kawhi Leonard will miss the game with an adductor strain. Going to be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA and in my 19th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to let me know, does this injury to Kawhi worry you? Do you think it's just a bluff and trying to get him some extra rest during the AllStar break? Going to be talking about it all in this episode, previewing the Golden State Warriors game a bit, and then talking about the much-needed rest that the Clippers are going to get during this AllStar break. But let's get right into it. The Clippers hearing some bad news. Clipper Nation, some bad news. Kawhi Leonard is out against the Warriors on Wednesday due to an adductor strain. Now, I don't know when this injury happened. I don't know much about adductors. And when it comes to the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard's injuries, we never really get a straight explanation. And I don't know what to believe. So I'm hoping, and I have no proof of this, no inside source, no nothing. I'm hoping that this is just, okay, you got a little small injury, and we want to find a way to keep him out of the All-Star game, and just not even have him go to Indiana, let him rest at home and get that extra rest for whatever this injury is. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. And, Kawhi Leonard at this point of the season, he has played in 48 games out of 52. We are 2-2 in games in which he doesn't play. 2 wins against Charlotte and a shorthanded Memphis team at the Staples Center, and then losses to the Celtics and at Oklahoma City. And look, I'm going to keep on knocking. So far it has worked. This is seemingly, the second injury Kawhi's had this season. But hopefully, like the first one, it's not very serious. And when the first one happened, I was a little nervous. Fans were panicking because of the same reason we always hear. We don't know about Kawhi's injuries. They always tell us one thing. The timetable ends up being more. They say he's day-to-day, and then he misses several games. So Kawhi Leonard is out for this game against Golden State. And it's going to be tough because they're playing pretty well right now, and I'll talk about that later. But Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers without him so far this season, the 2-2 record is whatever, but the way we've played, it hasn't been very good, particularly the defense. Because remember, we don't have a power forward like that. We have PJ Tucker, we have Kobe Brown. Neither of them, for their separate reasons. So let's talk about those. PJ Tucker, when he first was getting minutes with the Clippers after the Harden trade, he showed that he couldn't really hit the open corner three that he was so expert at hitting throughout the years. He just couldn't anymore. And in addition to that, he couldn't stay in front of these good players any longer. He used to be a fantastic defender, even as recently as 2022 season with Miami. He can move his feet. He was strong on the interior. Now he's still strong on the interior, but he can't stay in front. He's good for an occasional offensive rebound, but he's a complete offensive liability for the most part. This season, he has played 12 games for us. He has averaged 1 point a game, and he's shot 29% from the field and 27% from three. So that's why he's not playing. And then Kobe Brown, he's just a little bit young. You know what I'm saying? He's not taller than Amir Coffey. He's bigger, though, stronger, but he's not a better player than Amir, and teams go small in today's NBA. Kobe Brown is averaging, and he's played 32 games this season, 9 minutes a game in those games that he plays, 2 points on 37% shooting and 31% from three. You compare that to Amir Coffey, who's shooting 56% from the field and 45% from three. Oh my God. I haven't looked at Amir Coffey's stats for the season until now. That's funny that I haven't looked at his stats for the season until now. That's insane. Those splits I just said, are you crazy? Oh my God. The Brewmaster's really been playing great this season, huh? But without Kawhi, we really don't have a backside rim protector that's reliable. And he's been doing a great job at that. Now, I saw a couple of people on Twitter saying, this is what we get for playing Kawhi at the 4. He has an adductor strain. I just don't know how I can say yes to that when I haven't seen the injury. What if it was just a freak accident? Did he pull something, because of the wear and tear? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't talk about those things. I just think it's kind of frustrating, though, that we never see the injury with Kawhi a lot of the times. Like, we don't know when it happened. That's just weird. Like, when guys got injured, I want to say 10 years ago or before, you either heard about the injury in practice or you saw it happen on the court. It's so weird how many injuries these days we don't even see. I hope we get some clarification on that so we can see the severity of it and whether it was a wear and tear injury, non-contact, or just a bad luck injury. Because Kawhi said it best last year. He wasn't getting injured because of a workload that was too much or too heavy for him. He got injured because of freak accidents. He fell on someone's foot. He tore his ACL. I'm sorry, his meniscus. So Kawhi Leonard is out. I'm hoping that it's just a small injury. There's no way it's just not an injury at all and they're just faking it so he doesn't go to Indiana for the All-Star game, because I don't think Kawhi's on that kind of time this year. I think he's really trying to play in things. But maybe he does have a small injury in this adductor strain. I saw someone saying this could be up to weeks that he's out. I don't know. I'm not going to confirm this, but let's just say this. Worst case scenario, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. That would be really bad. We can't afford that right now. We're trying to get this 1 seed. But I have no confirmation on that. I just saw some doctor account. You know how those doctors on Twitter, they immediately try to, give these approximate timetables based on what they're hearing or based on what they hear. Yeah, the articles say and whatnot. And there were some people saying it could be a couple of weeks. I'll give you all the updates as they are released here on Locked On Clippers. But as of now, Kawhi is going to miss that last game against Golden State. And coming up, going to be talking about that Golden State game. The Warriors are playing some pretty good basketball of late. Let's preview that one coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Hungry Root. Hungry Root is the best way to save money on a lot of things, particularly your groceries. Hungry Root is your partner in healthy living. It's the easiest way to get fresh, high-quality groceries and simple, healthy recipes delivered to your door. You can save time and save money with Hungry Root. Saving time, in terms of that, customers can save 5 hours per week using Hungry Root without the stress of grocery and meal planning. And many customers save money on groceries versus the store, as well as eating out less and avoiding expensive takeout and restaurants with Hungry Root. Hungry Root is your partner in healthy living. Take a fun, short quiz, and Hungry Root will get to know your personal health goals, what you like to eat, the kitchen appliances you use, and more. Then they'll build you a personalized cart with all your grocery needs for the week and give you delicious recipe recommendations to put those groceries to good use. Right now, Hungry Root is offering Locked On Clippers listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/lockedon to get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/lockedon. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. All right, so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Kawhi Leonard is out against the Warriors on Wednesday with an adductor strain. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors, who have had a very disappointing season so far. They find themselves 26-25 on the season, firmly in that the 10th spot in the West. They have overtaken the Utah Jazz. They are 1 game over 500, though, through 51 games, but they have won 5 in a row and 7 of their last 10. So they're starting to play some of the best basketball that they've played this season. Recent wins coming at Utah by 22, which is a massive win because it's tough to win at Utah, as we know very well. Beat the Suns, who are playing some good basketball right now, by 1. That was on that Steph Curry game winner. Beat the Pacers in Indiana by 22, and they're no slouches at all. Beat Philly at Philly by 23. Of course, no Embiid, but they're also not slouches. Then at Brooklyn. So, and then before the loss they had to Atlanta, they won 2 games right before that. So, they've won 7 of their last 8 games. Draymond Green is starting to play really good defense. And Klay Thompson, I mean, not to say he wasn't playing good defense, but he's starting to step it up after the suspension. And Klay Thompson, he is starting to realize that he's going to have to sacrifice to get the best out of this team. Because with Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and Draymond Green all playing, you get a lot of athleticism and size and physicality defensively with those 3. And that's going to make life a little bit tougher for teams. So, and Steph Curry is still Steph Curry. This game is coming at Chase Center. It is going to be a tough one because they're on a roll, and now we don't have Kawhi. Keys to the game, as always, when you play the Golden State Warriors, try to do your best to not have Steph Curry kill you. The last time we played these guys, now we beat them both times in LA. We lost at the Chase Center. So this will be the 4th and final matchup between us. We will have a better record than them most likely at the end of the regular season, so I don't think there's going to be any tiebreaker situation between us and Golden State. But let's see if we can win the season series by getting it 3-1. This will be tough, though. As I said, we look at the stats for the Warriors this season. Steph Curry is still averaging 28 points a game, and he's only missed 3 games. So he's been really healthy. He's shooting 46% from the field and 42% from 3. He takes 12 threes a game, so got to try to run him off the line, throw 2 at him. On the high pick and roll, Zubats, can he play drop coverage against Steph? Probably not. That's kind of suicidal. So you're going to have to probably hedge and make Draymond make a read in the short roll. And that's the thing about guarding these guys. It's very tough. You don't want to switch your big man onto Steph, so you're just going to have to play the pick and roll in some way, and there's going to be a 4-on-3 situation if the read is made right, unless you want to play drop coverage. And Draymond Green is fantastic at those 4-on-3 reads. I would try my best, if I'm the Clippers, to get Andrew Wiggins to shoot open threes, because this season, he's not really been hitting like that. He's averaging 12.5 points a game and shooting 33% from 3. So the more threes that Andrew Wiggins takes, the better. Klay Thompson's shooting 37%. You know with him, he can be very hit or miss from 3. He shot, for example, against the Jazz, 3 for 7 from deep in the last game, and then against the Suns, 2 for 10. So, and in the 2 games before that, he shot 50% and 44%. And then before that, I'm sorry, I was looking at field goals for those. So let me just give you the last 4 for Klay. Last one, 43%. The one before that, 14. The one before that, 80. The one before that, 0 for 3. The one before that, 15, and then 22. So he is only shooting 27% from 3 in February. I would... if you need to give up a Klay 3, I'd rather give that up than a Steph 3. We got to be sharp, though, in terms of our communication off the ball. When you play against Golden State and they have Klay and Steph moving without the ball constantly, all these split actions and different cuts and dives, you need to be alert communicating at all times. That's one thing the Clippers have to do. Another thing, try to make Steph Curry work defensively. As always, when you play the Warriors and want to try to beat them, try to put him in the pick and roll. Try to get him to switch on to James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. I assume that Draymond Green will be guarding Ivica Zubats. I'm thinking Jonathan Kuminga takes Kawhi Leonard. He's got that size. He's got that athleticism. Then you have Wiggins on Paul George and then Klay on Harden. You might even see Klay Thompson guarding Paul George and Wiggins on Harden to contain at the point of attack. Regardless, having the starting lineup of Draymond, Kuminga, and Wiggins, it gives them a lot more size and athleticism that they didn't previously have when they were resistant to start Kuminga. So now we'll see how this goes. We really will. The Warriors are playing very well. Last game before the AllStar break, we've lost 2 out of our last 3 games. So it would be nice not to go into the break with 3 losses out of our last 4. Seriously. But anyway, coming up, going to be talking about what this All-Star break is going to do for the Clippers. I got to tell you a little something about eBay Motors. eBay Motors is the best place to get a car. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, so the All-Star break is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and I also want to say Happy Valentine's Day to you and your loved one or loved ones. Hope you have a great one. What am I going to be doing on Valentine's Day? Watching the Clippers and doing an episode for you on Valentine's Day. So it is what it is. I am very content with my life, though, right now. It's been better for me this year than the past couple of years, I can say that. And part of that is these Clippers. And one thing about the Clippers, we need some rest. I'm going to be honest. Kawhi, now he's got this injury. Paul George, besides that Detroit game, he's been shaky of late. He's had that groin injury. James Harden has had some games where he's looked really slow of late and hasn't been getting by guys the same way since he did in early January and in December. And then Zubats, still on that minutes restriction. Our team needs a nice recharge. We've been one of the best teams in the league in the first half of the season, but it just feels as though we're getting a little bit tired. I mean, the guys have not been load managing. Russell Westbrook hasn't missed a game this season. James Harden hasn't missed a game this season. Kawhi Leonard has missed 4 games. Paul George has missed 3 games. So now Kawhi is going to miss 5. Still eligible for MVP. He has to miss 12 more games after this Golden State one to be ineligible for MVP. And it's funny because, and all these awards, and it's funny because we did not consider him. Like when that award stuff, or when that rule came out, the 65 games, Paul and Kawhi were the poster boys for the graphics being attached on social media to articles pertaining to that rule change. But it's funny because right now, so far, it looks like they have a good chance to qualify for these things, and Kawhi is definitely going to be All-NBA, no doubt. But I still want to push the MVP case. Now, depending on how long he's going to be out with this injury, hopefully it's nothing, then that could hurt his case. But if we're being real, it's going to be hard to catch Jokic. Unless the Clippers get a number 1 seed, it's going to be hard for Kawhi to make his case because his stats just don't pop off the page compared to other guys. Like Kawhi, he's averaging 24 points right now, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block on 53% shooting, 45 from 3, and 89 from the line. So 1 more percent, and he's in 50, 40, 90 territory. 1 more percent from the foul line, of course. Those are really good stats, and he plays very good defense every single game. But compared to Jokic, who's averaging 1 assist away from a triple-double at center, it's kind of hard. As of now, the Clippers are 35-17, currently standing at 3rd place in the Western Conference. We have the same amount of losses as the 2-seeded Thunder, but 2 less wins, so 2 less games as the Thunder. Let me see if the Thunder play any games before the All-Star break. No, they don't. Their next game is actually against us in Oklahoma City on February 22nd. So they're done before the All-Star break. So we're going to have 1 less game played than them going into the break. So they're going to be above us regardless of if we win or lose. Now, Denver has 18 losses. We have 17. So if we lose, we'll be 35-18. They'll be 36-18. So half a game above. So we'll be going into the All-Star break in the 4 seed. There's only 2 losses. If the Clippers lose against the Warriors, there's only 2 losses separating us and Minnesota. So the first seed, just because they destroyed us the other night, does not mean that the first seed is out of the woods for us. We are still in contention for that 1 seed. You better believe it. Just because we lost to the Wolves doesn't mean anything. But we got to step it up, start from the defensive end, and hopefully getting easier baskets. Our defense has been a little suspect of late. First half, it was fine against Minnesota. Second half, terrible. Against Detroit, pretty bad. But then you see like the game before Detroit against New Orleans, also not great, if I'm being real. Actually, no, this game against Detroit, it wasn't too bad. Allowed 106 points. Against the Pelicans, 117. Against the Hawks, 149. The Miami one was one of the better ones in a while. Only allowed 95 points. But then against the Pistons, 125 in Detroit. Against the Wizards, 109. 118 against Cleveland. We had a great one against Boston. So it's been really after Boston. We haven't been able to replicate that form since. I know we had those 4 straight wins, and that was really great. But we got to get back to playing better basketball, starting on the defensive side of things. The Warriors play small, so they don't have the size that has really bothered us this season. They don't even have a guy that's 7 feet on their roster. They just play, Trace Jackson Davis. It's one of their bigs. Draymond Green, of course. Kevon Looney. So that's what they got. Dario Saric. They're not a big team. They're one of the smaller teams in the league, and they're on the older side. But a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Pajimski, Moses Moody, Trace Jackson Davis, these guys give them some youth. But yeah, they are older and smaller. That's the truth of their roster. They legitimately don't have one 7-footer on their team. I'm looking at their roster right now. No one is taller than 6'10", Dario Saric. Trace Jackson Davis is listed at 6'9". But anyway, let's see how it goes. Got a rebound, but we need that rest. Seriously. And hopefully we can get a win without Kawhi. It'd be a really great win if we can get it without Kawhi. Ideally, this is why you got Harden, for these kinds of games. You go out, go into chase, get a W against a red-hot team. Let's see how it goes. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Let me know what you think about the Kawhi injury news. Do you fear that it's going to be a long absence? I hope not. Just can't trust what the Clippers put out when it comes to Kawhi's injuries, seriously. Unfortunately, but wishing him the best. He's been amazing this season. He's our MVP candidate, and I hope he's well soon and is not missing more than a game. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.